Well, it's beer review time again. I'm going to review some here I've been having sitting in my fridge for at least 6 months. I've been saying I'm going to review it, and then I keep forgetting to. Anyway, it is Anchor Brewing Company's their steam beer, also known as the California Commons. This beer has been around since 1896, although I'm not an expert on the story behind the brewery, but it was a brewery in San Francisco, California. They closed down, and then I can't remember his name. Wherever you are, sorry I forgot your name, but a gentleman decided to buy the brewery and kind of remake a lot of the old recipes, and was, I guess you say, almost the father of craft brewing, at least in America. I know Mr. Coke from Samuel Adams fame, he's kind of a well-known figure, but wasn't really the first. Anyway, what is a California Commons? It's a not really a well-known style of beer, but anyway, like I said, not an expert, but from what I can tell, a California Commons is a lager, normally with like toasty or roasted malts, a little bit of hops, but it's made in the style of an ale. So instead of being cold fermented, it's warm when it's fermented, and yeah, why they call it a steam beer, I don't know. I guess California Commons is a better name. I guess it's common in California. Anyway, got a little bit of reading here. Born of the Gold Rush survivors. Oh no, wait, excuse me, there's an and there. Born of the Gold Rush and survivors of earthquakes, fires, and prohibition. Anchor Brewery's history is give me a minute, my reading ain't this instinctually. We'll go with that. I thought I had a pretty good reading level, but I guess not. Instinctually linked to San Francisco. One of the constants in our 100-plus year run is Anchor's steam beer, the San Francisco original. That's as bold and beautiful as a city it calls home. So Anchor Brewing Company, they have several different beers, but the steam beer, I'm guessing, is their kind of flagship, or what they're known for. And like I said, as far as finding examples for a California Commons or a steam beer, they're kind of hard to find. It's definitely a style of beer that isn't really common anymore. I know, of course, Anchor, and I'm pretty sure Sierra Nevada makes one as well. By the way, in case I didn't mention, this is 4.9% alcohol by volume with, I believe, 33 IBUs. Oh, a thick head. I don't pour my beer aggressive at all, but we got that's a 2.5 finger head there. And we still got a little bit of beer left in the can. I'm going to set that aside. As far as color goes, it's just a brown beer. I mean, you could say it looks like a generic British like pub ale, a brown ale. Kind of looks like Yingling, if you want to. If that's an easier metaphor to make there, or not metaphor, but I don't know, I'm all over the place. I've done a couple reviews so far, if you can't tell. I've been chugging them down today. But anyway, and also the head is a little off-white. It's not, completely white. There's a little bit of a brown, almost, kind of thing going on with the head. Let's go ahead and take a whiff of it. There's not a bunch to get as far as the nose, not a lot of notes to pick up. You can get a little bit of a hop, kind of like a pine tree little note there. Maybe a hint of like a brown syrup, a molasses, maybe like a sweeter brown bread. But like I said, not much to get off the nose. Anyway, let's go ahead and take a whiff. Take a swaller, but I will say this is a beautiful beer. Okay, first thing that jumps out, and what kind of scared me, because I'm not a hop fan by no means, but there's definitely a pronounced hop bitterness. Or let me go over what I meant by that. What I mean by I'm not a hop fan, I don't like extremely bitter beers, at least not hop bitterness. I don't mind beer that can be hoppy, but use hops more as a flavoring agent more than a bittering agent. This, though, definitely the hops provide a bitterness, but also the malts are pronounced as well. You do get a kind of a brown bread, a little bit of sweetness, a little bit of a toasty kind of malt, like a biscuity kind of thing going on there. A little bit of a spiced bread along with it. It's like they tried to go the stereotypical American beer route and make a round beer. You know, think of, like I said, round beers like your Schlitz, PBR, all that. Got a little bit of a bitterness, but they're a little malty as well. Well, sweet, I wouldn't go malty. But they try to do that, but with toasted malts or roasted malts instead of just regular barley malt and adjunct. It's definitely interesting. Like I said, you get the bitterness of the hops, but you do get a kind of a darker brown bread note, although I wouldn't even say it's extremely malty either. It's interesting, hard to describe. A little bit watery, and there's a little bit of a fruit kind of note there, and it's kind of hard to really pin down what kind of fruit though. But you like this indescript little fruitiness. Overall, it's refreshing. I'll give it that. Still weird though. It is a weird. It is a weird beer. Like I said, it's bitter, but it's watery, but it's also malty. I don't know how to exactly explain this. And it's hard, like I said, it's hard to really think of something to compare this to because there's not a bunch of steam beers or California Commons or whatever you want to call it on the market. It's definitely I would say in a league of its own, but there's a few California Commons out there you can find, although I wouldn't say, at least on the East Coast, they're not readily available. Like I said, this is the only California Commons I've ever had. Got it at Total Wine in Alpharetta. But yeah, it's interesting, definitely. I'm also not sure when you're supposed to drink this. Like, there's a lot of beers out there that you go, oh, you know, like this is an everyday beer. This is a hot weather beer. This is a colder weather beer. This is like a jack of all trades beer, I guess. I mean, it's a little watery. The mouthfeel is watery as well. There's a bitterness, but there is a toasted kind of malt deal that you would think of as a almost later in the year kind of beer. But like I said, that kind of goes against the fact that it is watery, a little chuggable. I'm kind of a loss for words here. I know I'm rambling, but at the same time, a loss for words exactly how to explain this beer. Would I drink this again? Yeah, like I said, it's refreshing. At the very least, it is refreshing, and isn't that the job of a beer? I mean, some folks might go, well, beer is meant to get you drunk. Some folks go, well, I like the flavor. But overall, it's a drink. It's supposed to quench your thirst, so it's doing that. Which honestly is, compared to some of the stuff I've tried, you would assume if something's wet, it'll quench your thirst, but no. I was talking to my dad about, we were talking about like worst beer I ever tried or something, or just bad beer in general, and I brought up the Earthquake High Gravity, and I was like, you wouldn't believe it, but that beer made your mouth drier the more you drink it. I don't mean like it's a dry beer. I mean like it had a dustiness on the mouth. It was just very weird. But no, this is definitely refreshing. It's chuggable at the ABV, 4.9% alcohol by volume. You know, it's right is, you know, it's a fastball right down the middle when it comes to ABV, ABV for beer. Like I said, I'm kind of conflicted how to rate this. Oh, 8. 8 out of 10. No, 7.5 out of 10. It's not amazing, but it's very good. It's a good beer. I can see some people going, what? I can see, you know, people who just drink like Bud Light trying this, go, that's terrible, that's awful. And then I can see also craft beer drinkers who are all about, you know, oh, IBUs and just complexity, and I want my palate just get the hell beat out of it. Going, well, that's bland. It's watery, it's bland. There's nothing exceptional about this beer. But I guess I'm right in the middle where I go, yeah, it's got some different flavors going on. None of them are really off by any means. But it's not doing anything crazy at the same time. Very serviceable though. Very, you know, it's approachable to some. Maybe not, like I said, your Bud Light drinker would try this, go, that's awful, what the hell is that? But for me, 7.5 out of 10. I will definitely drink this again. If I go somewhere and someone offers it to me, I'll be like, no, that's a good beer. So yeah, 7.5 out of 10. Like, rate, and subscribe if you care to. If you don't, I'll get over it. Spay and neuter your animals and kill your local pedophile.